opposing counsel, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury. When we were all younger, we cherished puzzles for the problem-solving skills that they required and the sense of accomplishment that we would get when we completed them. We'd get home, we'd empty out the box, we'd spread out the pieces, we'd examine the cover, and we'd attempt to recreate the final piece. Now in the end, if we ended up with any missing pieces, we would put the pieces back into the box, go back to the store, and get our money back. As my co-counsel stated in her opening argument, in order for Beck to be charged on 2 counts for both murder and manslaughter, the state must create for you a perfectly finished puzzle. Now, this is a pretty high standard. A suspicion, or even a theory, isn't enough to convict Beck. In fact, you must be 100% sure that Beck murdered Ann Marcus. If you have even a speck of doubt, then you must acquit Beck. As a defense, my co-counsel and I have proven that there are multiple missing pieces in the puzzle that the state has attempted to create for you. The state is holding up a puzzle in front of your eyes with missing pieces and asking you to convict a bright and innocent teenager for murder. If the piece doesn't fit, you must acquit. Now, the first missing piece. The state presented to you Dr. Aiden Hobbs. Dr. Aiden Hobbs mentioned the marks on Ann's wrist and insisted that somebody tied her up by the wrists. Now, on the other hand, we presented Dr. Sage Gratian, and he told you that the marks didn't even go all the way around her wrists. And he also told you that when he examined her dead body, there was no rope on her wrist. Therefore, if she was tied by her wrist, then why was no rope found on her dead body? Hobbs also told you about Ann's injuries to her left temple and her left eye. And he insisted that the injury to her left temple was caused by a strike to the head, and that the injury to her left eye was caused by a punch. However, if we can recollect, the state, quote for quote, asked this question. You later learned that Ann hit her head on the rocks, and Beck answered yes. Therefore, I believe that we can all agree, both the state and the defense, that Ann's injuries were caused by her slipping off of the unstable rocky shelf. The second missing piece, Officer Kripke. He confirmed both the athletic and academic achievements of Beck. Not only that, but Officer Kripke isn't even a certified police officer. Therefore, his observations aren't persuasive. They're not credible enough in a court of law. And as for the third missing piece, Cody. Cody had a long period of time where he could have been alone with Ann. He left his car multiple times. Not only that, but he made no effort to speak to Ann and cajole her into siding with him, even though basically his future was on the line. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the fact is, we are all human, and we all make mistakes. And Beck is no exception. What we have here is a victim of an unfortunate circumstance. Beck is a 17-year-old teenager who tried to save himself from being reprimanded by a few administrators and his parents. She didn't kill one of her friends for a scholarship. She was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, when you walk into that deliberation room, I urge you to ask, what makes sense? What's reasonable? Are there any missing pieces to this puzzle? The state wants you to believe that Cody was not just as capable of killing Ann as Beck was. The state wants you to believe that it was impossible for Ann to fall off of a rocky shelf. The state wants you to believe that Beck brutally murdered a friend of hers over a test. I ask you to look long and hard at the facts that have been presented to you and to find Beck not guilty. When we were all younger, we cherished puzzles for the problem-solving skills that they required and the sense of accomplishment that we would get when we completed them. We'd empty out the box, spread out the pieces, and attempt to recreate the final piece. In the end, if the pieces didn't fit, we'd go back to the store and get our money back. From Kripke to Hobbs to Cody, the pieces do not fit. So you must acquit. Thank you.